What we are looking at is an emulated Sun Spark station running under QEMU. So in that Spark Sun station, I have a copy of MicroMuse from the 1990s. It was used in education, and I've set it up so that this QEMU image can be downloaded from the Internet Archive and run on your modern Mac or Windows PC under QEMU. And I am now starting up the Muse, and it's loading from the database now. So this is the startup screen that people saw when they used their modems to get to MicroMuse, which is a MUD, multi-user dungeon. And I'm going to connect as the system administrator here. Connect sysadmin and the super secret password ABC123. Actually, I should put sysadmin1. I created characters in this MicroMuse, and while we're waiting for it to start up, I'm going to connect here, student1, and the password is also ABC123. Oh, okay, so I have to telnet. So what that startup script did was it started a process, and now I can telnet to the local box port 4201, and that gets each character into MicroMuse. And now as it loads the database, nobody can use it yet until these 50,000 objects are loaded. But look at this, you're seeing the same messages in each window. So it is broadcasting the status of the database to each connected client. So I'm going to start up another client here. Telnet. Okay, to 4201. And now, as the database continues loading, each client will get notified. So that's 10,000. There'll be a 1250. So this takes some time. You have to be very patient with these old applications, but we are. Okay, so object 20,000. Okay, we're getting there. Okay, so our Muse startup is complete. And now if we look at this first person here, that player does not exist or has a different password. So what we really need to do is connect as sysadmin1 with ABC123. And this here we're seeing news from 1999. How nice. And let's just look up here a little. Okay, so welcome to MicroMuse. News last updated in 2000. Okay, I have 250 credits for logging in, and I last logged in March 21st. And here's the community center. Wide ribbons of burnished metal and smoky crystal arc above you meet the high overhead at the center of the pointed dome ceiling. So there was beautiful descriptive text in these days. And I'm in this room, and Uncle John is here, Piper's here, there's a Cheshire cat, a poem, a memorial stone, notice board, and community plaque. So let's bring the students in as well. Okay, so now I could do the connect. Student 1. Okay, now student 1 connected, and the sysadmin got notified of that event. So look at this rich interaction through text that existed. Now this student is not yet a member of MicroMuse. The student has to actually do a project to build something new for the Muse before a mentor can promote them to a regular member. So for a class, that's fine. And the student has 28 days to do their project. So let's bring in another student. And same password for all these accounts. Okay, student 2 is in this. And have you ever used a Muse before? Yes or no? Okay, and then please read this news about what you have to do. So let's say no. And now it gives the student a tutorial. You have entered a text-based virtual world. How beautiful. Okay, so now you have to look at a tree, and you see a gnarled old apple tree. Okay, it teaches the student all about it, how to read and continue. Feel free to pause and read these beautiful descriptions. Okay, continue. Okay, so now you make a description for yourself. So let's say at sex, me equals female. Okay, and let's see, let's look at me, and at sex, me equals male. Okay, so now let's see, if I look at me, how about if I examine me? Okay, sex is male, and if I examine me, and this is a female. Okay, so now let's look. Okay, and you could give a description. Let's see, I look like a video streamer from Toronto. Okay, let's look at me. Okay, I look like a video streamer from Toronto. Okay. Clarion Hotel. Okay, so now we are in the hotel. Let's look. Okay, we're still on the visitor trail. We have a few things to finish. Okay, and next. Okay, who's online? So you can see who. And we have the sysadmin, student 1 and student 2, and how long they've been idle. The sysadmin's been idle for 3 minutes. We better wake him up. Okay, now let's see if you get a registered character. When you're ready, you type more. And paging, you can page people. See, this was an interactive experience. Okay, so let's do a next. And say tut tut, it looks like rain. Okay, tut, King Tut, it looks like rain. And everyone in the room would see that. So yeah, the muse responds, you say this, and people say student 2 says that, you better run. Okay, now you notice that there was a delay. Those delays are programmed because this is an object-oriented programming system. Now, the pose command makes you look like you're doing an action. So I'm just going to say pose laughs out loud. Okay, so yeah, it's giving an example. It's like student 2 turns into a rain cloud. Okay. And to get to the next part of the trail, type blow away. So there are subcommands, like after this happens, see, there's text telling you what the next command is, and there's code that tells you what to do when you blow away. And then you can whisper. So it's abbreviated with whisper, and there's a toad here. Whisper, toad equals hi. You whisper hi to the toad. Toad whispers, hi, student 2. Type look toad. Look toad. And you see a friendly little amphibian. Okay, no warts. Okay, to see the summary screen, type help. To page a mentor. Okay, let's just try this. Page mentor's name. Okay, see, there's still text that pops up as you type if you're not patient. Okay, so type, but we're paging sysadmin1 equals hi, I'm here for my lesson. Okay, so the sysadmin saw that student 1 connected, student 2 pages, hi, I'm here for my lesson. So you had rich text interaction back then. Okay, and let's see, where's the other one? Here we are. Okay, we paged the sysadmin, look, and Okay, so who? Mentors online. Help. Okay, so there's an extensive help system to learn about this. So you can spend hours learning about all these commands and commands, building worlds and attributes. Look at this, help attribute list. You can set all these attributes, like we set @sex and @description, but there's like fail descriptions and success descriptions. Okay. So like if you pick up something that you're not allowed to pick up, that's a failure, and then the fail description will be displayed. Look again and go on. Okay, where are we now? We're still in the visitor's trail. There are exits. Okay, so when you're in a room, you'll see exits. To move on to the next, so we could look at the exit name, look large hole. So sometimes you could just use one word and it'll interpret that whatever is there. Let's just check this out. A large hole. Okay. You would peer through the exit and see what's on the other side. Let's just say if we go into the hole, the hole is a lot smaller than you thought, but you managed to wriggle through. Okay, MicroMuse is an optimistic vision of the 24th century. The setting is Siberian City 2, a gigantic cylindrical city in orbit around the Earth. It is 36 kilometers long and 15 kilometers in diameter. Its residents are scholars who live in a unique community dedicated to teaching, learning, the preservation of knowledge, and fun. So the 24th century is when Star Trek The Next Generation was set, and that came out in 1987. So in the early 90s, people were envisioning, wow, what could we imagine our lives in the 24th century would be like? So let's go this way. And although many tourists and other visitors regularly visit Siberian City 2, permanent residence is granted to a few selected from the thousands of schools and universities on Earth and those on other colonies. Well, we haven't had extraterrestrial visitors to MicroMuse, but on Earth it was used by students a lot. Teachers experimented with creating courseware for this. The students learned a lot by interacting with each other, and they learned to read and type, improving their skills. And it was really working with the mentors where they learned the most, where the mentors encouraged them to keep trying at a puzzle. And if they got stuck, the mentors could help them out, guide them through it. Now, let's see, these residents are called scholars, whether they research, teach, or learn. Scholars spend much of their time in academic and social debates, sharing knowledge and experiences from their different cultures and backgrounds. That's important because you had people from around the world using this and interacting, and you learned about different cultures. And it was really one of the first times that through the internet, people of different cultures interacted. I remember AOL in the early days was the first time a lot of us got to meet people from across the United States. But if you were lucky enough to have this in a college or a high school, you got to meet new people and learn that we are all the same. We are all struggling for the same things in life. Okay. They spend time in the solar system creating interactive exhibits and studying and learning environments. So there was actually a space module where you can fly spaceships and visit other planets and stars. And the fun thing is, it was created by an astronomy student, and the formulas for the rotation and Newton's laws are exact in the mud. So if you know where Mars is, you can go there. Okay. Much of Siberian City is devoted to these exhibits, making it a huge museum for exploration. And Barry Court, who still maintains this muse, he still has it online. It's been 35 years. He created a science museum, which is modeled after the Boston Museum of Science. And I'll show you that soon. Dataway. Thataway is Dataway. The end lies ahead. Before you leave the trail to find others in this community, we would like to give you a hint for getting along with others in places like this. Clear communication is very important in a text-based environment because it is easy to misread or misinterpret someone's communication when you cannot see their body language or facial expressions or hear the tone of their voice. So this is probably where emojis started. I think it was more Plato, but this is one place where emojis were used. The wonderful advantage of this sort of anonymity is that it allows people to interact on an equal footing without regard to age, gender, race, economic status, or even species. There were animals online. If you keep, maybe the chimp, yeah. If you keep in mind at all times that the person on the other side of the screen could be anyone and that they deserve to be treated with the same respect with which you want to be treated, then your communication skills will be greatly enhanced. So what we need to think about as we build new metaverses is how to impart this wisdom, that teaching people how to treat each other with respect. Okay, now let's transport and begin our Muse adventure. Okay, and student 2 has arrived. Okay, so student 2 is in the community center. Here is the sysadmin, and student 1 got the message too that student 2 has arrived. Okay, so now the sysadmin is going to say equals hello, students. Okay, so the sysadmin just talked on a public channel and each student got the message. And student 2 says, hi, so equals, hi, I'm done with the tutorial. Okay, so the sysadmin gets that message. So here's a case of the sysadmin mentoring 2 students. And student 1 is just watching, sees student 2's and student 1's message. Okay. Okay, so this guy says, great, let's explore. Okay, so let's look at some of these things. Let's look at the Cheshire Cat. You see a Cheshire Cat, or at least you see a grin. And when there's a grin, a Cheshire Cat can't be far behind. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to show some things in here. Let's look at Uncle John. Okay, case is not sensitive, but here. A man in his early 30s sporting a certain cultivated scruffiness. A set of sideburns taper to a point just before reaching his smile, giving way to a perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. As he catches your glance, he brightens up, saying, hey, if you're not doing anything this weekend, you should come check out my band, www.blakeandthecanaries.com. So there was actually a band that had a website back in the early 90s. Okay. So that's a character that somebody created. And we can examine Uncle John. And we see all his attributes. He has a towel, he has a Screen Actors Guild card, and a teleporter. Wow. So these numbers are object numbers in the database. So like you want to look at the SAG card, you can examine number 11536, and you see the Screen Actors Guild card. Owner is P Movieland, which is a project, and the card is a thing. Change owner is okay, so you could take the card and it's visible. Created in 2005. How nice. So you're exploring 35 years of history now. Okay, let's look at that plaque. Okay, so let's scroll up. Okay, let's bring it down a little. Floating about 5 feet off the ground is a smooth, shiny black plaque emblazoned with electric blue letters, which read, "This community center is dedicated to the good citizens of Siberian City who have created this community to advance cooperation, collaboration, and good citizenship in cyberspace." As you look at the plaque, the letters start to scroll with a list of the most recent people to enter the center. 138,482 people have entered the community center. And these are the most recent. So there's a robot called Siberian in 2024. And going back 2023, we had Dark Star, we had Ken, and scroll down. Okay, so these are the most recent. So you're getting a little bit of usage by a few people in 2022 and 2023. So some people have had an account since their college days and they're still online using this thing. Okay, let's look at the stone, the memorial stone. This stone set into the floor has a plaque on it that reads, "On this day, February 3rd, 1996, 8 people conglomerated in the community center. Long live the community center." So there's some interesting things. Let's see. Oh, the notice board. Okay. Okay, so here is an object that has some subcommands. You could view notices, you can add a notice, you can delete notices. So let's view notices. And there's a lot of notices. Let's just look at here. 2018, Dark Star was still here at 8:25:35 a.m., wherever he is in the world. Whoever's reading this, glad to see you. If you haven't already, join the Muse Unite on Facebook. Okay, now the one I wanted to look at here is for the citizens and guests of Siberian City who miss their children, the Child Care Center gives you a chance to experience the joys of meeting kids face to sticky face at tel 7710. So at tel is a teleport command. So I want my students, hi, I want us to meet in room 7710. Type at tel and the number sign 7710. Okay, so student 2 is doing this. Okay, look me. Okay, here's student 1 and look me. Okay, so student 2 has been exploring. Okay, so let's look at it from this perspective. At tel number 7710. Okay, student 1 has left, so let's just follow student 1. Okay, so we're in the Child Care Center. This is the foyer of the Child Care Center. Several rooms open from this one. The nursery, the preschool, and the director's office. Small lockers and coat hooks cover most of the walls, and a bench sits next to the exit. A water fountain and restrooms are available at the far end of the room. A plaque hangs on the wall near the office. So this plaque gives you a little hidden command. So let's type plaque. And you'll notice that Jessica came out of the restroom and darted into the preschool as we were reading this. And we see Luke, Johnny, and a house helper. But let's read the plaque. The Child Care Center is our effort to bring the entire family to Siberian City, including the children. You may visit and interact with the children here, subject to a few rules. Please don't pick up the children unless an attendant suggests it first. 2, if you pick up a toy, please drop it or give it to a child before leaving. 3, if you see a problem or have a suggestion, please mail Heinermad. The center is currently under construction, so your input is important. So Heinermad is a user from the system who created this room and these other things, the preschool and the nursery. So let's see, let's look at the house helper. A little house helper, type greet help to get info. Okay, type greet to make it to greet visitors, turn it off with no greet. Okay, so this is help for the greet command. Where shows the location, online, find a person. So there's a lot of commands available. Let's look at the time. Housekeeper says current time is March 22nd at 4:10 a.m. Well, it doesn't celebrate daylight savings time in this old Unix. So it's actually 5:10 a.m. where I am. Okay, so let us cease. Okay, let's look at Luke. Luke, as you stand behind this young boy whose curly blonde hair sticks out of the bottom of his baseball hat, all you are able to determine is that he must be around 7 years old. He appears to be concentrating intensely on the work in front of him. His intensity piques your curiosity. You can't help but ask him what he's working on. And Jessica comes back from the restroom again. Okay, so let's see. Say hi to Luke. Okay, I think it's say Luke equals hello. You say Luke equals hello. Okay, so I still have to learn this. Let us look at Johnny. A young boy has a very impish look to him. On the outside, he seems to be very carefree and a silly child. As we all know, however, there is a lot more to the person that meets the eye. Johnny is sitting at a round wooden table and is giggling. Why is he laughing like that? What is he listening to through those headphones? Maybe he will let you listen for a minute. Okay, let's try this. Whisper. Johnny equals hello. You whisper hello to Johnny. Whisper hello equals Luke. Whisper Luke equals hello. You whisper hello to Luke. Let's see if we pick up Luke. Let's do a get Luke. Luke has left. Luke has arrived. I'm taken. Now let's drop Luke. Housekeeper says, hi, Luke. Okay, we can pick him up. No problem. Let's see if we get Johnny. Okay, and drop Johnny. Okay, no problem there. Okay, let's go to the nursery. Okay, the director calls to you from her office. Hi, feel free to look around. Just remember, there are real people outside waiting to meet you. Don't spend so much time online. So that is Apple Screen Time reminding you. Okay, in the nursery, attendants are feeding, diapering, and playing with infants in this room. A few babies are asleep in cribs at the back of the room where it's quiet. A couple of the children have runny noses, but the rest seem healthy. One of the older ones has gotten himself wedged under a table. He's crying in frustration, but his attendant is speaking words of encouragement as she helps him find his way out. There's a plastic pail. There's Robbie. What's in the pail? Look pale. A covered bucket sits in the corner of a nursery next to a padded table. It has handles on the sides and a tight-fitting lid. It is used to store soiled diapers until they can be recycled. An attendant speaks to you from across the room. We're really swamped today. Would you be a doll and empty the diaper pail, please? Okay, we'll be nice. Empty. The pail sloshes as you pick it up. Removing the lid, the smell of ammonia and other organic compounds fights with the deodorizer that tries to cover it. The attendant points you to a disposal chute. As you pour out the pail's contents, a small fan draws the smell away. You notice a little spray hose and rinse the now empty container with disinfectant. Okay, who else is here? Let's look at Robbie. A cute little baby boy with red hair and bright blue eyes. Robbie smiles when he sees you. He's hoping you'll tickle him. Okay, let's tickle. Robbie giggles happily, then sighs. You should probably change his diaper now. Oh, what have I gotten myself into? Diaper. Robbie kicks wildly, daring you to catch him as you remove his soggy diaper. Robbie drenches your shirt while you fumble for a clean diaper to cover him. Better be more careful next time you change a baby boy. So you're learning valuable life lessons in this mud. Okay, let's go out of here. Let's see, housekeeper greets us. Let's go into the preschool. Clusters of children grouped by age are supervised by teachers. Oh boy, a lot happening here. As they engage in activities around the room, the oldest group, about 5 years old, is currently sitting in a circle near the computer terminals. They are singing an ancient nursery rhyme. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a 486? My friends all run Unix, I'm in such a fix. My tasks run so slowly, I'm all out of tricks. Oh Lord, won't you buy me a 486? Oh boy, we have Jessica, Myron, Simon. Obvious exits are out. A purple dinosaur made of nylon and foam rubber shuffles into the room. The children, giggling and shrieking in mock terror, run for cover behind the available furniture. A teacher approaches the dinosaur and says, "I'm sorry, the 20th Century Media Museum is down the hall, Barney." The dinosaur gives the okay sign and lumbers out. The children gradually come out of hiding and resume their activities. Simon tugs at your sleeve and says, "Have you seen my teddy? I can't find him." Okay, let's look at Simon. Simon is a little boy about 3 years old. He seems to be looking for something, and he's carrying his teddy bear, but he can't find it. So there are little puzzles in here that you have to do. Let's look at Jessica. Okay, the purple dinosaur came back. So Jessica, at the opposite end of a room, you see a 5-year-old girl standing with her back to the wall, hands behind her. She has brown hair, hazel eyes, and dimples. Her flowered shirt and pink shorts show a few spots of splashed water, but are otherwise clean. Jessica sees you looking her way and motions you closer with one hand. Okay, Simon, I haven't seen your teddy either. But let's go closer to Jessica. Jessica curls a finger indicating that you should stoop closer. Okay, Jessica. Jessica smacks you across the face with a water-soaked Nerf bat and skips away laughing. One of the attendants sighs understandingly and tosses you an already damp towel. So let's see if we can decompile Jessica. Okay, so let's see. Let's go to okay, Attel 7710. Okay, sysadmin is in the preschool. Let's go to P for preschool. Okay, sysadmin has arrived, and let's see if we can decompile. Okay, these kids keep interacting with me. Decompile Jessica. Okay, so what you're seeing here is the code for Jessica. Set Jessica equals visible, end set Jessica pennies 1. So Jessica's description is here. When you first meet Jessica, you see a 5-year-old girl, blah, blah, blah. And lock, there's a, she can't leave this preschool area. A description. So when you look at Jessica, she does an @emit command, which says she sees you looking her way and motions you closer. So when you type the word closer, this is how it happens. So nset Jessica equals variable A. So there are variables A through Z, and $closer is the defined command, and this is the action that it does. Emit, Jessica curls a finger indicating you should stoop. When you type stoop, it's variable B. And Jessica smacks you across the face. And fail, she's too quick for that. And oh, fail, this person reaches for Jessica, but she dances away too quickly. So let's look at this here. If we take or get Jessica, She's too quick for that. You see, because it failed. It was an action that you did that failed, so it gave you that message. And if another person fails, it says here, student 1 reaches for Jessica, but she dances away too quickly. So now you're seeing the code behind these objects. Only the sysadmin can decompile objects. Okay, let's look at Myron. Okay, Myron, this little boy is constantly in motion, but it's a subdued, almost furtive process. As you watch him, you notice a pattern, a toy taken here, a tug at someone's hair, a tap on the shoulder, and then disappear. Apparently, he's the class joker. So let's get Myron. As you lift Myron, he sneaks a swift kick into a spot you'd rather he hadn't. You set him down hurriedly. So let's just quickly decompile Myron. And Myron has a description. He has a lock and an O fail, which has that message. Now it says %N looks like %P is in pain. Okay, so here, student 1 picks up Myron, puts him down. Student 1 looks like his is in pain. Okay, so the pronouns may have some bugs, but okay, so you could go out. Now, I'm going to teleport us to a museum at tel number 9090. And here we are on the grounds of Mopo. In front of you stands a huge and imposing building. The central part of the building is several stories high, with wide stone stairs leading to the massive white granite columns that surround the entrance. Above the pillars, inscribed into the stone of the building itself, are enormous letters that spell out Mvzivim of the perfectly ordinary. So this is a museum. And let's take a look. Enter the museum, and there's a plaque. Look at the plaque. This museum was originally created on MicroMuse in 1993. It was ported to MicroMuse in July of 1996. It was designed and implemented by Conrad, who wishes to thank Blue Puff and Walad of Mari and McDuff and Moulton of Micro. So this took collaboration back in the 90s to create. Okay. And let's go to the... Okay, so this is one of the museums that you could explore. Now, let's go out. And here we are in Section 1, Arc 3, the Curio Shop and Mopo. And let's see, the Science Center is anti-spinward. That's where we want to go. So A is to move anti-spinward on this space station. So now we are here at the Siberian City Science Center. A granite plaza leads to the Siberian City Science Center. A curved walkway is bordered by huge specimens of rock and minerals. Across the hall is the biology classroom. The university is anti-spinward of here. The curio shop is spinward. So let's go into the Science Center. And we are now in the Science Center. And this was programmed by my friend Barry. Welcome to the MicroMuse Science Center, where learning is fun. This is the Center for Scientific Learning with many interesting exhibits, puzzles, and curious devices on display. Please feel free to pick up things and play with them, but please leave them here so that others might enjoy them too. So there's a solver, a weird waiting puzzle, Archimedean excogitation, a fiendishly difficult puzzle, and there's an out to leave, there's an office, there are bagels, a 15 puzzle, cryogenics, electricity, mathematica, exploratorium, and curio shop. So if you've ever been to the Boston Museum of Science, Barry ran the exhibits there, and he recreated the exhibits in the Muse. So when you walk into the Science Center, there is an Archimedean excogitation, and this thing is doing things. So imagine a sculpture. spinning its whirligigs and making music. A red ball comes out of a chute, bounces off the top of a small drum, and lands in a catcher. A striped ball rolls down a xylophone ramp. Tinka, tinka, tinka. A blue ball descends a basket on a pulley, spinning a windmill atop the kinetic sculpture. 6 balls descend a corkscrew and swirl around a gravity well. A chain link elevator lifts the balls back to the top of the audio kinetic sculpture, ready to entertain the next visitor. So you're now making pictures in your mind from the text you read, and that is a valuable skill for kids to learn. Let's look at the bagels. Here is a bagels puzzle, a number guessing puzzle. Look at the docs for how it works. So look at bagels docs. Hi, welcome to the bagels game. The bagels guru will think of a 4-digit number and you will try to guess it. None of the digits of its number will be the same, and if you guess anything but a 4-digit number with all the digits different, it will screw up. We may want to fix the language here. All right. Anyways, when you guess your number, for example, guess 1, 2, 3, 4, I will compare it to the number that I'm thinking of. I will tell you how many numbers you guessed right in the correct place, which are bulls, and how many you guessed in the wrong place, or cows. If you get 4 bulls, that means you won. Try scramble to get a new number. And try not to talk faster than it can think. It doesn't work too well. So let's guess 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and it's thinking. The bagels machine says you got 0 bulls and 1 cows on 1, 2, 3, 4. Yay! So one of these numbers is in the number, but in the wrong position. Guess 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so you practice your patience as you wait for a machine to respond. Now, one of these numbers is in the correct position, but I don't know which one. So let's guess 9012. And then you have to use your logical deductive reasoning. 1 bull and 2 cows. So there was 1 cow here. So 1 or 2 is a cow. And one of these is correct and one of these is correct. So it's like a mastermind game. So let's see. Let's go atrium. And there's other puzzles. What's interesting is, okay, let's look at Mathematica. So in Mathematica, you will find amusing and entertaining mathematical curiosities to look at, pick up, and play with. Please leave them here when you exit. Yeah, I guess there was a problem with people picking up things and dropping them all over the mud. The atrium is out to the east and the exploratorium is northwest. Professor Griffin's logic quest begins just to the west from here. Be sure to put on your thinking cap. So there is so much that you could play with. Let's look at the tesseract. It's a strange object from the 4th dimension. Your visual cortex doesn't quite know how to map it. An electronic docent says, the tesseract is a 4-dimensional hypercube and does not exist in our ordinary 3-dimensional world. Well, let's pick it up. Take tesseract. You pick up the 4D hypercube and casually examine its properties. As you idly turn it over, the tesseract obligingly turns its shadow inside out. Oh, I better drop this thing. You let go of the tesseract and it tumbles to the floor, wreaking havoc with the other visitors. Oh, how nice. Now, I found this interesting. Look at the GCD machine. This machine calculates the greatest common divisor of 2 integers. To use the GCD machine, type GCD of m and n. For example, GCD of 6 and 15. So if I type GCD of 768 and 512, it is now calculating. It's thinking. You got to be patient here. Okay, it's equivalent to the GCD of 512 and 768 and 256 and 512. and it just figured out the greatest common denominator is 256. Now, what's interesting is how is it doing this? Let's see, can I decompile GCD? Yep. So there is code here that's doing modulo arithmetic. So here's a good example if you want to learn how to code. Um, Here's a halt command. Here is the, okay, so variable A, if you have GCD of blank and blank, emit, it calculates, and then there's a trigger, me VE %001. Here's a VE, which has a switch, comparison, multiply. So there is real code behind this. And with that, I will leave it to your imagination. I'll now give you the instructions for downloading this. Okay, if you want your own copy of MicroMuse, you go to the Internet Archive and details spark_202.403, or you can search for Barry Court, and here is the item. Okay, so this is a QEMU Solaris 2.6.5 image of the MicroMuse server as of February 2024. Please read README.txt for instructions on how to run it. And here is the README.txt, which you really need to read of how to get started. So some Unix commands, and this is the commands for starting the start sun shell script and bat file. So this is for Unix and this is for Windows. So you're going to download this item and just put it in a directory where you'll find it, like Barry's Mud. Okay, let's just go back to the Solaris page here. Okay, so it's been tested on a Macintosh Air M1 and a Windows 10 machine, and you use startsun.bat file for Windows. Note, you may need to edit startsun.sh or the startsun.bat script to change the path where QEMU is installed. It may be in user local bin on some Macs. The Windows script looks in C program files QEMU. If you install it with Homebrew, like I did, it's probably an opt homebrew bin. Basically, it needs to run this executable to start up a Spark station. Okay. And then there's some parameters for memory, the drive file. So this QCOW2 file is the hard drive, and you could see when you download it, it's 893 megabytes. It's a virtual machine, essentially. For background information about this product, here is the YouTube playlist that will show Barry giving a lecture at Harvard. Okay. And now, once you have that, you need to run it from a terminal window or DOS prompt in Windows. So you need to go to that directory, CD downloads, and here it is, Barry's Mud. And you want to /startsun.sh. And this will start QEMU running. And then you wait for that to load. The Control Option G is to release your mouse and move around. So let's wait for this to load. Host name is Barry Court. That's the name of the machine. So QEMU is emulating a Sun workstation starting up. So you need to wait a few minutes for this to finish. And then now you are running a Sun Spark on your Mac or Windows machine. And you enter your username is just the word, you have to click in here and type the word root and enter. And now you are starting up Solaris Common Desktop Environment version 1.2. And then at the bottom, there's this icon for your file manager, application manager. And what you need to do is open desktop apps and then scroll down until you see a terminal. Okay, Now I like to change some options. I like the window background inverse, which is dark mode. You hit OK. Now you're in dark mode, and change the font size if you need to. Global, the font size is in the menu options. Font size, I like 11.5. And then LS, here you are on a Unix terminal. And you have to go to Export. And then there's a Home. And then there's a Muse. And here is the runmuse.sh. And now it gives you a message, and you wait for MicroMuse to start up, and you're back in the 1990s. You have to do a connect. So let's do connect visitor Eric. And that connect is a trigger to start loading the database. So you'll see the database starting to get loaded. Have fun.